abyss. $29. 29. 29. 29. The last degrees. A goodbye. A 29-degree Scorpio goodbye. $29. A goodbye. This is really for me. For you too, if you want. It's the end of the Scorpio birthday season here. Within hours, we're going to enter in the fire sign of Sagittarius. I'll be honest, not looking forward to that. But that's how it goes. One sign to the next. 0 to 29 every month. 30 degrees, 30 days, 12 months, 4 seasons. That is how Western astrology works. It works on that system based on the 12-month calendar. 4 seasons. Each season with 3 signs. The first is always cardinal. Initiates the season. Second is fixed. Keeps it going. What was started from point A to point B, and then the next sign is always mutable, as in Sagittarius tomorrow, which is mutating to get ready for the next season, which in this case will be the solstice that happens when the Capricorn's birthdays start. But tomorrow, or within hours here, we have that whatever sign. So I don't really give a care about that sign right now. All I care about is 29 degrees. 29. That's what I care about. This is what this stream is all about. There's 8 of you here, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. So, you got anything you're feeling and thinking about what this Scorpio season's meant to you with Mars and Scorpio here the past weekend, the importance of that, anything scorpionic, this is it. For those rare people that happen to be here right now, I have very important something at 29 degrees in several places of my chart. It's a very important degree in my world, especially with the scorpionic stuff. So there is a goodbye here, but I feel, honestly, I feel raw. Not the best per se, but I feel okay with what's happened, for me at least. And you know, a lot of people are afraid of this type of energy. They're afraid of 29 degrees something, or the end, or they're afraid of going all in and going to the deepest places and walking into the shadows with a flashlight and not knowing what's about to appear from within themselves or in a scorpionic part of their chart, or they run into that energy in their life and they don't know what to do with it because they're confronted with the truth. And I love that shit. And I love it when I'm freaked out and I'm scared, because I know there's gold waiting ahead. And it's about having the tools to walk through those shadow places. I saw the post, man. I see the fucking post. I can't wait for this Scorpio season to be done. Yeah, I wonder why. Wonder why you can't wait for it to be done. Maybe because you're scared. So before that happens, we go deeper. We drone down deep. From blue to red to green. Green. That's where we're at. So you got that thing you want to stick into, let go, initiate, wish. You want to throw yourself into the abyss, you want to put that thing into the abyss, then this is it. This is what this stream is about. I'm not going to go pull up a chart up. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to fucking lose myself here. You're welcome to lose yourself too, in a good way. Hello, chat. I see people in there. Zaki, Scorpion Muse. See, Scorpion Muse is sighing in the chat because they know what I'm talking about. They know exactly what I'm talking about. They don't want this to end. They actually like it. Soon comes the smart alecky Sagittarius behavior and the jovial whatever's. Hey, we need it. I know a lot of people are they need that. Again, just got to keep going, right? Little do they know, Venus will be in Scorpio here within a couple weeks to do this thing. So more Scorpios on the way. But this is big. This last week in the Scorpionic realm, and remember this. Remember this transit. It's going to play out here in the next year. A year from now, we're going to have a Mars retrograde that's going to happen. It stations at the beginning degrees of Leo and will go back into Cancer. We have a Mars retrograde in about a year. It's connected to this time right now. I think Scorpio's sarcasm is a lot more poignant than the Sag sarcasm, but they're both sarcastic motherfuckers, that's for sure. What's up, Holly? So, that's what's up. Let's play with some sounds, okay? And then you can say whatever you want, chat. I don't know if I'm going to show my face tonight. Actually, I'm going to say another thing here, man. You know, some people, you'll hear this thing about the 29th degree. They call it the anaretic degree in the astrology world. It's kind of a recent concept. The final degree, there's one more thing to do. There's one more thing to figure out, but there's this wisdom and the life path from 0 to 28, 29 degrees type of stuff. And, you know, I do subscribe to that a little bit. But I think there is something in general for a transition point. Just like, I mean, basically, if we just think about where the sun is here, 29 degrees Scorpio, and it's going to go, it's, you know, hold up a second. It's all of a sudden very quiet. Just me and my voice. Alone. In the dark. Just me in the dark. Alone. With my heartbeat, my voice. In pure darkness. Maybe that's what 29 degrees Scorpio is. You're nothing in this world. You really do truly walk alone. Always. No matter if you have one person in your life, 1,000. You can be in a crowd of thousands. At a concert, at a show. On the subway. But you're really just alone in the world. In your own bubble. How is it in their place? How do you stand? What happens to you when you're there? I love this place. I will always go here. Always want to stand in it. And if I had my way, I would extend this season a little bit more. Just till Friday, actually. In a sense, Mars leaves and goes into Sagittarius on Friday, but I ain't never, ever gonna be done with the dark and the honoring of it. I think it's good for a human being to be in the dark and alone. At some point, you have to come out. But it is part of being a human being to walk alone in the dark. You'll notice other people who can't deal with it, like when you go there, and let's say you happen to be with them, or say, hey, let's do this. And you'll see who can't do it. So they're on their own path with that. But the ones who can do it, and do it with you, those are extra special situations and moments. in a sense, you get to explore each other's dark. Now that, in my mind, is ultimate intimacy. So no, we still got some hours for the Scorpio birthdays, and so we're still going to talk about it in the dark. In this case, there's a little bit of a green orb in front of you to follow. I don't know if I answered the 29-degree question in chat. Scorpion Muse says in chat, interesting on my end. As soon as you stopped the music, I heard two owls hooting outside in the darkness. I dreamed yesterday about a solar eclipse. Thank you, Scorpion Muse. April 8th, 2024, there's a major solar eclipse that will happen through most of the middle part of the United States. It starts in Mazatlan, Mexico, pretty much, and will move through Texas and Arkansas and go through parts of Iowa, if I'm correct, southern part of Illinois, and it just keeps going through Ohio all the way to the northeast part into the upper parts, far reaches of northeast Canada. I am planning on being there for 100% totality, most likely in Texas somewhere, to make Scorpion Muse's dream come true. Let me have a good laugh at that. To make Scorpio Muse's dream come true. You know, it used to be where in ancient times, parts of Greece, when you would dream, afterwards you would see certain things, and you would go into the village or into your community, and there was actually certain dream interpreters there who would ask you, you know, what you saw. And so it'd be like weird stuff, like I saw 2 cows and a whatever, and they had a language that they went by. Then, in a sense, the spirit of dream or would come through and give you those messages. So there'd be planting crops around this, or who got married to who, and all types of stuff, health stuff, sickness, illness, and the dream interpreter would help you figure it out. That's how they looked upon it. It was no joke. It was serious divinatory activities, and with other people who were, in a sense, that's all they did. You just go to them and talk about this stuff. Yeah, in a sense, Holly, that's the counting sheep is pretty much from that. I just went to go look at my bookshelf. I don't know where I put this certain book that has to do that with this. Oh, man, if I remember, I'll put it in the comments later if I find it. It's an ancient kind of Greek text or whatever that's just really wild. Super trippy. So, yeah, that's another thing, right? Zach says, I saw the Three of Swords tarot card in a dream the other night. A lot of people, when they run into that, it's kind of an ominous one, you know. Times because it could be like, there's the two swords before, whatever, and you got this third sword's going through the heart kind of thing. And it's no joke. But agreed, Scorpio Muse, it's a pretty trippy thing to have happen in a dream. Yes. 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 For those of you just popping in on the stream, I just had to do this. I had to come on and I had to have my ritual. Say goodbye to Scorpio sun birthdays. Then ours here, we go into Sagittarius. I have no idea how this is sounding to all of you. That's what's up. I'm celebrating, actually. This is actually a celebratory abyss stream. 29 degrees Scorpio celebratory abyss stream. Thank you very much, Scorpio Sun and Mars and Scorpio. Thanks for all that you do. You don't get credit. They make a bunch of fucking memes for the last so many years, and they always dissing on Scorpios. Geminis too. They don't know. They just scared. Scared of the dark. Angela. Can you hear me? Angela. Thank you for the super chat. From southern to northern hemispheres. Angela. I remember when it was the end of 2021 and the eclipses started happening at the South Node Scorpio, North Node Taurus. It was around this time, last 2 years ago. Forget when it was. It was before Thanksgiving, after, something like that. 27 degrees. Think about what's happened in my life from then till now. A couple risks that I took. Smashed hearts. Selling off possessions. Needed the space to create. Go back here on my channel. You go back around that time, see what the hell I was doing, what I looked like. I can't even begin to tell you how effing hard it's been. And the thing that has kept me going, and where I think I've had every single emotion move through, was doing these podcasts and these videos. I always laid it on the line. You know, I have always put it out there. All in. For better or worse. I don't know if any of you out there watching here live or later on, you're even going to care about this whatevers. I bet some of you have too. You want to know another reason for a moment like this, to do a stream like this? It's because I can. It's because it's for my heart and my soul, my mental health. But it's a celebration in the weirdest, darkest of ways for me. It is with heartache and pain and all types of stuff, but I'll tell you. 2 years ago, I was at the Crossroads, staring into the abyss. Sometimes you just gotta jump. And you gotta risk. And it takes courage, and at those times, it doesn't seem that you might have it. It actually seems the opposite, like you're scared shitless. And then you jump. There's a payoff. There's times before I've been on these streams or these videos where I couldn't get up out of bed. Or I was in tears. Don't matter, keep going. Press play, press record. Pull up the chart. Keep going. Put it all on the line. The last 3 months of my life have been so busy and a lot of energy moving around and difficult at times, but I'll tell you, everybody, I am so grateful. My world has changed and it's changing, And I'm starting to see this pay off. And, you know, I am alone in this, in a sense. But at the same time, I'm not. Because there's 20 of you watching right now here in the middle of the night. There's some of you in chat. What's up, Angela R? I got different Angelas here. Hello, Angela R, with the third eye at me, throwing at me. Got people from the other side of the world. I could not imagine this. But I was walking in the dark. Barely a glimpse. Barely a light in the dark. And no flashlights, no guides. The dark. The dark. The dark. The dark. So here I am 2 years later. In the dark. Celebrating. And I'm never going back. I've been so fortunate in the last 2 years slowly to talk to many people in private sessions, here online on YouTube. Social media, on the streets, in person. I had people coming up to me earlier this year like, aren't you Sparkles of Gold? Or I don't even know my name. Like, what the hell is this? I didn't think about that shit. Think you're here in a room in front of a camera and you're alone and you're talking to this camera and you're just like, who knows who's out there? And you don't know who is out there listening. There's you all in the chat here. You'd be surprised who is actually watching. So I'm always remembering things like that. I gotta be myself, and I have to go all out. And I know I do different than everybody else. There's a ton of other astrologers. To each their own. That's cool. But when the universe reflects back to you, like I said, I could be in a hard place to turn the camera on. I just have to let loose or speak my mind or go off on a rant or do whatever, talk some astrology. Just be me, whatever mood I'm in. So you never know who's watching and listening. I am sure that there's a plenty of people who can't stand me and my voice and my erraticness and my stuff out of the blue, or because I don't schedule everything perfectly and all that kind of stuff, and whatever, I don't care. But then there's those of you who do. Remember that for yourself when you are in the darkest of places and you do feel alone and you have to come to terms and be alone and find your way by yourself, right? We do this in various times in our lives. Then you find yourself in these odd, uncharted territories. You get through the static. All of a sudden, you start running into other people you've never seen before. And they were walking in their own dark. And they saw some faraway orb and light that they walked towards. And then that light would fade slowly. and then come back because they kept walking towards it. You start to realize there's a certain color, or a certain path, a certain language, a certain something, a certain energy. And feels like you're bringing those people towards you, or you're walking towards them at the same time. You go where you're accepted, and you walk towards where you'll be loved and seen. And along the way, you shed those tears because of what you thought was there behind you. Situations, people, family, old stories where you tried to do it there, and you're running on potential. Your own, or the person on the other side of you. And for a while, you maybe walked through the dark, or you found some sort of connection. But then things change. If you're ever in some spot, it's really true what you hear in different forms, in different languages over time. You walk to where you are heard and confirmed and accepted. That's walking to the light. It might not be the way you dreamt of it at certain points, or it has a certain scenario that you had in your mind, the details and the dreams, but you'd be surprised, when you shed old forms and you take a risk into the unknown, and then you actually start to find what you really want. It might not look the way you thought it did. Go to where you're embraced energetically. To those who have your back. To those who will support your vision and dreams. You want to know how I roll, or a 29-degree Scorpio signature in my chart? I got Pluto squaring my sun. In the last 2 years, many of the situations and conversations that I've had with people from the astrological sense, from listening or holding a mirror up and doing chart readings and all that stuff, I'll tell you, one of the biggest common storylines or signatures was the fear of making changes in one's life because of people they love, or because things that they were told to do or they thought they were supposed to do, but they knew that wasn't their code and their path, and they knew that they had to go do their own thing. And that's really hard. People know exactly, they actually know what they have to do to make the changes. And it's usually fear that stops them. Well, if I do this, this will happen, or it will make this person unhappy. I will lose this. I will lose that. I think in Western culture, like in the United States, and what has happened with the hurriedness of life and computers and stupid fucking apps like TikTok and shit, all this other stuff, vamping everybody out. All these illusions of people chasing more quickly than ever. There's a disconnect that happens. And, I think more than ever, then it creates situations where you see something on your phone or some advertisement or something, and that's what you're supposed to do. And people are running into dead ends. These are my thoughts, of course. But in the end, walking through the dark, finding yourself there, and can you do it? You shed those fears and you take risks. I'm going to tell you, the last couple of years, I've been walking through the dark, scared shitless half the time, but there was something different about it. I kept seeing it in my clients too. Saw them taking risks. Eclipses enter their life. Presented them with situations. There was no way out. There was no other choice. It was almost done for them. Pushed them into the abyss. If you're going to remember anything in this stream tonight, you see the title. It's 29 Scorpio degrees of goodbye. The crossroads of the abyss. That's my life. I'm always at the crossroads with people. Anything you're going to take is if like you are trying to figure some shit out, or you know you got to make a decision, or you got to make the changes, and you got to deal with resources and now no resources and all types of stuff that just makes it harder for you to make the changes. I mean, a lot of times it's resources. Can't just move out. It can't just leave. You need the money, you know. But if we keep it simple from an internal point of view, you go to where you are loved and you start in your own world, in that mirror. And if it's in the dark, and if you can get to places where you could say that to yourself in the dark, you can get to that place. So when you walk towards the light, you're already halfway. Like, you just know you got to do it. Then it's just propelled now. Situations and people, the universe, nature, they start walking towards you. They want to help you. They see you. I'm not going to bring up some words about manifestation and all that shit. Whatever. I don't know. People are going to subscribe to whatever. But basically, I mean, it's really simple. You go to where you feel good, where it's healthy for you. If you got to lose a bunch of friends or a lifestyle, the job, find your support, find your tools to do it. I'm telling you, man, people will show up. And if they don't, you still know that you did it because you walked through the dark by yourself. Ain't nothing gonna stop you at those points. Once you do things like that, then you know when you walk through life, you're good either way. Ask any Scorpio. They'll tell you about death and rebirth and regeneration processes. In the 29-degree place. You know there's flowers in the dark. You know there's sweet smelling things in the dark. Like like pomegranates. They're songs in the dark, hymns. Mystery tours. I'm never going to forget this year in the Scorpio birthdays. I'm never going to forget it. I'll have a story to tell publicly or something one day about stuff here in my personal world, but I just hope you got a story to tell too one day. And that's what it also comes down to. We live on stories. Transmissions. That's why people write books, they have transitions, they say talk to your elders, and there's back and forth and all types of stuff like that, because they're going to tell you, like, hey, I did this and I did that. I see what you're doing over there. I did the same thing, man. I waited too long, or I saw what you're doing there and you thought this was going to happen. And so that's the other thing about, I think, being human is how important it is to speak one's truth in good spaces. Like me, I'm using YouTube here, and so it's that, but it's important because sometimes people are walking in their own world, their own bubble, and you realize that by speaking your story, or you hear someone else's story, you're like, oh, that's me, that's what I'm doing, or I'm at that point in my life or something, right? Then you're like, don't feel so much alone in that sense, or like you sense metaphorically losing your mind, So it's important to read stories. We do this all the time in fiction, and people are watching TV shows and shit and movies, all types of stuff, the way story comes across. So there's that too, of singing your tune, speaking your story, and how important that is. I should look at chat, shouldn't I? Zach says, I found you on the Astrology podcast and I appreciated what I saw as your big Gemini energy, that's for sure. The Scorpio side is very cool to see as well. Yeah. Thanks, Zach. Quite bright. Thank you, Nicholas. I feel like you're speaking to me, feeling alone, and needing to go towards where I am embraced. Life does not look like I ever imagined, but I'm on the right path now. Good for you, quite bright. Angela M's talking about the last 2 months have been my most unforgettable. Go look up the Nat King Cole version of that song. Scorpion Muse. When you spoke of flowers in the dark, I recalled the story of Hades and Persephone, and it was one of my favorite stories, though when I was young, I didn't understand the significance to my journey. Go look up Nikita Gill. She's written stories from certain perspectives of the gods and goddesses, and from Persephone's perspective, these poems. You go see what I'm talking about with Nikita, what Nikita's written. You go find, you can find this stuff online. Very interesting stuff. Kind of a different way of looking, a more different from feminist view, whatever wave you subscribe to. Very interesting stuff. Zach is asking in chat, have you ever spent any times in New Orleans? Feels like Scorpio season year round. Yes, I have. Oh, yes. I used to go there a bunch. Have crazy memories from that place. It's been a while. Food's wild. The food is just out of control over there. And music, man. The birthplace of American music is New Orleans, Congo Square. An amazing history and culture, and the birthplace of American music. See, it's 12:27 a.m. where I am here in the red zone, the red cave. And I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I set up my crazy little gear setup here last couple years, where within 5 minutes I could press live, go live on YouTube, and it's there, you know. And do this, you know. Yasminsky says, thank you for this meditation. You are totally welcome. Just glad you're here. Am I done? I don't know. Let me see here. What else is inside me? I cannot wait to sleep tonight. Deep, deep sleep. Deep, deep sleep. I'm going to read you something right now. It's part of an Orphic hymn, not the whole thing. You can go look this up yourself. It's just a beginning part of this one. Lorian, enjoy your sleep. It's an Orphic hymn to the divinity of dreams. Thee I invoke, blessed power of dreams divine, angel of future fates, swift wings are thine. Great source of oracles to humankind. When stealing soft and whispering to the mind, through sleep's sweet silence in the gloom of night, thy power awakes the intellectual fight. To silent souls the will of heaven relates, and silently reveals their future fates. Forever friendly to the upright mind, sacred and pure, to holy rites inclined. I love that line. I love this line. I love this line. To silent souls the will of heaven relates, and silently reveals their future fates. Think about that when you're going back to sleep. Dream divinities coming in. The angels of future fates coming in. Throwing the oracles into your mind, whispering to you while you sleep so deeply in the darkest of night. Do I dare say, you, listener and viewer of YouTube, whispering oracles to you? Sweet words. Your future fate. If so, then I say this to you. You're not alone. The angels are always around you. Nudging and guiding. For you. Into your mind, into the deepest place in your heart. The everything and the nothing. The beautiful you. Whispers. The whispers. The whispers. Whisper, whisper. Your future fates. Sacred, and pure. Your heart. Divine. Oracle. See how beautiful you sleep. Regeneration of your heart. From into the dark, into the light. awake. Awake, awake, awake. You chase your fate. I hope that your heart is filled. And you walk through your fears. To find home. I want to thank the 20 of you here that have been pretty much consistently listening and watching tonight or today, wherever you are. Didn't know how this would turn out, but hey, that's the thing. Risking uncharted territories, walking in the dark and into the light. If you happen to be in a situation where you are late now, where you are and you're going to go to sleep, maybe write down, if you wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning, write down what comes to you. And if you're somewhere else too, where it's not quite that time for you to lay your head, I don't know, man, do that sleep ritual here at the Last Degrees. 29 degrees of goodbye. I want to thank the angels that guide me and the diamond that guides me. I want to thank the shit ton of frankincense that I've just burned on this stream. I wish I could throw that your way and you could smell it. I do have these certain Taurus types of spending habits. I've been pretty good with it, but when it comes to frankincense or storax and other stuff, I'm spending the cash on that stuff because I'm worth it. And life is holy, and life is a ritual. So saying that, I hope you treat yourself well and celebrate yourself here after all this in this stream. And, you're going to go have an ice cream cone or something, or you're going to burn some frankincense, whatever it is. Acknowledge yourself and look at yourself and tell yourself, hey, I'm strong and tender and beautiful. I'm going to celebrate me in this moment. Alone. In the dark. Until next time. At the crossroads of the abyss.